Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Talking Tradesman. With me in the studio today, all the way from our capital, is Josh Armani. Josh, let's talk, man.
Yep.
Massive thank you for the effort in coming up today. I know you've had a bit of a journey to come up here. East London?
Yeah, East London.
East London. So yeah, mate, thank you very much for coming in. It's probably best to pass it over to you to sort of explain what you do. Who you are and a little bit about you. So take it away.
Yeah. So my name, thank you, Russell. My name is Joshua, and I have a mold, ventilation, and condensation specialist construction company that services London and the West Midlands.
Oh, you work up this way as well?
Yeah, we just started a new branch in the West Midlands.
Oh, fair play, mate. Which areas are you covering?
So Stoke-on-Trent, Stafford.
Okay.
So about a 30-mile radius around Stafford.
Nice.
So yeah.
And that was, say that again, mold, condensation
and ventilation.
Right.
So we basically fix properties that have mostly ventilation issues. We put in vents, PIV systems, and we just improve the overall living quality of the property.
I'm assuming, mate, by that kind of thing, is it like council contracts, that sort of thing?
No. It's all private domestic work.
Oh, okay.
Straight to landlords that live at the property mostly. Do some tenanted properties as well, but mostly it's direct to property owners that live in the property.
Fair play. There's a lot of legislation around like mould and that and tenanted properties now, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a big government push now, obviously improving the well-being and the standards of properties, especially for tenanted properties. So yeah,
it's good for you, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm always busy. So that's what we do it for, to be busy, be working all the time. And
So how long have you been in construction?
I'd say since about 2019.
Okay.
So I'm 25, so I just turned 25 in February.
Fair play. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Post birthday. Well, we're in Feb now, to be fair, so not too far ago.
Yeah, exactly. So 25 now. Been in construction maybe 5 years, been labouring for a couple years, started my business, which I currently still run, December 2023.
Nice.
So relatively new company.
Relatively, mate. I've had people that have been sat down that have only been in the trade for 6 months, though. So yeah, it's 5 years is still a decent amount of service to get under your belt.
Yeah, well, I'm a qualified plumber by trade, so it's something I got into which wasn't necessarily the path of a typical plumber, but I got into construction to make money and have a business. So that's what I went down.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Well, no, when you reached out to me about coming onto the podcast, it was because and obviously we've talked a bit pre-record and you've told me bits. But let's kind of get into that because you reached out, the fact that this is a podcast centered around mental health. You've been through your own journey, your own story. I guess let's go back as far as is relevant. Find out a little bit about you, how you grew up, where you grew up, and where that led into your own sort of journey and story.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. So I started, mum, stepdad, started in Kent, living there, whole childhood, moving constantly, lots of bit of tension in the house, little arguments here and there, but I can't fault my childhood, to be honest. I had a roof over my head, I had food, I didn't go without, so that's where it starts there. And in a sense of education, got my GCSEs, tried to do the A-level thing, couldn't quite do it. Tried to put my head down, ended up doing a music business course.
Really?
Yeah, because I retook. I was doing history, all of like politics, economics, A-levels. Had my head down in the books. Did okay. I got my C's. Just about passed my mocks. And then it wasn't for me. I saw some ad online, music business. Had a couple of friends that were like, doing music in my area. So I just you know, I didn't have that guidance. So I just thought, yeah, I want to do that. And then I just left my A levels, just went.
Mate, do you know what though, Josh? I've said this so many times. Like for kids who are like 16, 17, 18 years old, you ain't got a clue what you want to do. Like I don't know what I want to do now, and I'm 40. Like I decided a year ago to start podcasting. So it's like I don't think there's ever an age where you reach where you go, right, that is me now. I think we've all got that flexibility to turn around and go, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to try something new. I think that's the beauty of life, isn't it?
It's liberating as well, because obviously I know a lot of people that can't really do what they actually want, you know. But for me, that's the best thing about my childhood. As much as, you know, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. But I think even you could say I had the best childhood because I was allowed that freedom to just do whatever I want, which is, you know, only benefited my life. I have no regrets at all. I just do whatever I want within reason.
It's not a bad outlook, mate. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, and you got to try things, haven't you, to sort of find your groove and find what you're sort of you're going to fall into. But how did you go from like doing a music course to then sort of filtering your way through to where you are now?
So I did the music business course, and then I suffered with mental health because...
What sort of age are we at now?
So I'd say that's about like... It's hard sometimes to know exactly, like, I think I was about 20.
Okay.
Yeah, 19, 20, something like that. So I was doing the course, then I realized like it's not just all glitz and glamour. I have to actually start writing, doing my dissertations and all of that stuff. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not cut out for this. And then it was just that pressure in my head. My mind started playing tricks on me. I was thinking I'm doing better than I actually genuinely was doing. So that in my head was one of the reasons why I suffered with mental health. And it was just that pressure I was putting on myself that I was building inside, because I was expecting success from myself, you know? And it was making me go mad, to be honest, because creative industry is the hardest industry going, because sometimes it's not even down to how hard you work. It's luck, it's your connections.
There's a fine line, mate, isn't there? I can't remember who said what, but I know there's several quotes out there that there's like a fine line between like greatness and insanity when it comes to the creative arts. So there's a lot of like musicians and artists that have teetered that edge, and sometimes like the most creative minds are the minds that can then dip in and out of some real like severe mental health.
Yeah, I'll definitely say the creative industry has got the most hardworking people, but it doesn't correlate to the success. And that's why I think mental health is a big issue in the creative industry, especially as well. There's a lot of freelancing, a lot of free work going on. And it takes a toll on you because you're working super hard. And as a human, it's in our mind. If we work hard, subconsciously, we expect results. And that's an industry you can't really get results from if you work hard. You know?
What would you say it is? Luck?
It's a factor of a few things. It's luck. I would say it's a little bit of skill, right place, right time.
Yeah.
But it's mostly to do with, right place, right time. And as a human, how are you meant to justify that mentally? You know, your success doesn't matter. You could be in front of the computer for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, and still have nothing to show for it. And I think that's why I did suffer with a lot of mental health from that as well.
How did it manifest for you? Like, where did it start? Just obviously, you've mentioned like the build up of the pressure, but how did that sort of manifest itself?
Just came to the point where I was doing a lot for social media. I was doing everything for the Snapchat to show my friends, like, look what I'm up to, you know, the kind of like the big I am. So it was very humbling to go through mental health due to the music and the music industry.
Okay.
Because it really grounded me. I thought I was something I wasn't, and it takes a toll eventually because you're not authentic.
Is that like the pressure? It's interesting actually, mate, because obviously we're a couple of generations apart. Maybe more than a couple. Being kind to myself there. But it's always been an interest of mine to sort of look into or study the psychology or the psychological effects of social media because I think like the way I look at it, mate, I was one of the last generations that escaped without social media. So I got to probably 16, mate, before I had a mobile phone. And certainly that wasn't a smartphone. So it was just like basic mobile phones and that. And I feel that I was one of probably the last generation through that got through childhood without having to have those societal expectations that social media put on, like you guys. Like, I've got kids, so they're growing up with it. But to have that pressure of social media and having to look like a particular thing to particular people in order to feel that you got to fit in. I was blessed that I never had to do that. Like, my social contact was face to face. Do you know what I mean? For a long, long time. And I guess I kind of, by the time social media landed and impacted, I didn't have that same weight on my shoulders because I'd lived the life without it beforehand. But like your generation now have grown up with it.
Full on.
Yeah.
It's full on.
And that, like, it's, I mean, no doubt it's to blame for like the rise in things like bullying, because like kids nowadays, they can't ever switch off. Like what goes on at school or not, it follows them home.
And and to be honest with you, to add to that, that's why I've been very particular of when I started this whole social media stuff, because I was being pushed to go and start it a bit earlier within my journey, even though my business is very young, it's doing very well. But yeah, I was very particular of when exactly I was to get into social media, because now I've taken a back foot off of my business, you know, and I've left that to my colleagues and my team. So, you know, there's that balance, isn't there?
So you've built a business that is now running itself.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. We'll get into that, because I'd like to talk to you about that anyway in terms of construction, because I think scaling a business is something. Another thing that I've mentioned quite a few times is there's a big difference between being a business owner and a tradesperson.
Massive
You could be an incredible tradesperson and not know anything about business. On the same side, you can be an incredible businessman and probably build up a business and not ever put your hands on tools.
Yeah,
you know?
There's a few people I know like that, actually, that have very successful construction businesses that come from recruitment, different industries. And yes, it's a difficult one. We was, even when we was coming up here with my friends, we was doing a few clips, you know, in the car whilst driving on. We got 2 hours, so getting some content. And it was one of the big things that I was pushing on about, is like, for a tradesperson, it's that worry of detaching yourself from your work. So you, as a tradesperson, you're always scared that the quality of work is going to go down
if you're not there.
The customer relationship is not going to be the same as when you was doing it, and also the profit margins reduce because you're paying someone else to go do the job. And especially if they're a good tradesperson, they don't come cheap, as we all know. So it's just about detaching yourself from it and just accepting that there is people out there that can do a similar quality or standard of work that you are able to do as well. That's a big thing for tradespeople.
Yeah, massive, mate. Massive. I could go really deep on this, but to keep it relatively surface level, I think the problem is, as a tradesperson, and I fell into it myself, like you can be in a position where you have so much pride and a lot of your identity revolves around who you are as a tradesperson. Yes, it does, because of that pride and the ego and the identity of, like, for example, me, painter and decorator, right? I am the best painter and decorator. Well, that pins me into that role, because I'm never going to release those reins to go, do you know what, I can put somebody else in my position, because I'm going to naturally assume that that's a downgrade, but that then holds me on the tools.
Exactly. And I've been on the tools. I'm a qualified plumber by trade. When I started my business, I was running around in my van, taking all the phone calls, doing absolutely everything, taking payment. And it was just, I got to that stage where I was like, no, I don't want, and I'm young, like I'm 25, you know, so I haven't been in the trade as long as most guys. So obviously hats off to everyone, you know, grafters are grafters, but I was a grafter. I'm still am a grafter, but in a different sense now.
You've seen the light. I think maybe that's one thing where your generation has got that advantage, because you've grown up with the likes of social media, so you know how you can weaponize that into a business.
Yeah, definitely. But I would say in the construction industry, especially in the UK, I don't know, I can't really talk about or comment about the rest of the world, but yeah, it's one of those ones where you don't really see, there's not much out there. Like there's a lot in the property industry about, oh, you need to systemize this, systemize that. But for tradespeople, where do you actually start? For me personally, I spent thousands on getting around the right people to tell me, like, how do I get out of this rut? There was a point I was doing well, super busy, making good money, but I was close to just packing it in because I was like, this isn't life. Like, my phone keeps ringing. I can't work. You know, I'm just living on that wheel.
Yeah.
That day-to-day wheel. And to be honest, I was making great money for my age. And I was ready to just say, you know what, I'm done with this. Like, I'll just go get a job. Like,
burnout, mate.
Finished.
Do you know what? Yeah. I've known lads do that. That get to the stage where they just can't, because again, running a business and being a tradesperson, two different things. And some people do just want to be the tradesperson, but they don't want to run a business. And recognizing that, because I think there's this weird misconception in the UK trades industry where you're almost told that if you're good at being a tradesperson, you got to work for yourself.
Yeah.
But why is it like that?
Because that's where you can maximize your profit. So,
but why is it like that?
Why is it like that?
Because you look at other industries, like say you're an incredible salesman, you don't get told you need to set up your own sales business. You get told, go work for that company because they'll pay you well.
Yeah.
You get told, go and, you work your way up the corporate ladder. There is no corporate ladder for tradespeople, but there's no business structure behind businesses. Like me, okay, painter and decorator with 25 years experience. I class myself as a high-end decorator. I've pretty much been around the block. I've done most things associated to my trade. I don't think there's much better than me out there. Be easy. Right. But I know for a fact if I were to try and get an employed job, if I was lucky, I might find somewhere that might pay 35 at most. Take away your taxes and all the rest of it, you're not left with a great deal of money. And that would be, I'd probably be hard pushed. I'd probably have to walk straight into like, I don't know, like some kind of foreman level job to get 35. Most likely, most jobs in my industry employed are probably paid at maybe 28, 30.
Yeah.
But then the leap of
gap, isn't there? That wage gap, that's what pushes everyone to
self-employed.
Be self-employed.
But what I'm saying is, why is it like that? Why is there no company out there that, because I've gone off on a right tangent here, Josh, but I'm just thinking on the spot.
Why isn't there?
Because if for example, let's take another trade, because I know people will sat there going, decorators can't earn that. But let's take another trade. Let's take plumbing. Like your trade, notoriously well paid. Like you can earn some decent dough. I don't think it's inconceivable to say that an established business is going to turn over six figures. Would you agree? A good plumber?
A good plumber can,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, especially if they're into the boilers as well.
But if you were to try and find employment, you'd probably max out at 40, potentially. Yeah. So why is there a 60 grand gap? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
because it takes more skills to run a business. That's why.
It does, but you would...
And it's the volume of work. As
you
a trade,
could potentially still think, though, like, if you were a company that had built a company of plumbers, could you not afford to pay your blokes 60 or 70 and you're still going to earn 100 off them?
I'll be honest. For example, for my company, I have a few subcontractors. They make like 10 grand a month from my business, just from the overspill of work. So it just depends on.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So you're into the six figures, aren't you?
Yeah. That's what they're getting.
Yeah.
Just for doing the jobs that I can't physically do.
Yeah.
Well, my team can't physically do. So I guess it just comes down to.
I've got to retrain as a plumber, man.
I don't do plumbing though.
No, it's just so I can work for you.
But yeah. So. That's true. I've never actually thought about that. There's such a big gap.
Yeah.
But I think that's generally to do with because it takes more to run a business than just be on the tools.
Oh,
you know, if you want to step back, you need to get the volume. It's all about sales and marketing.
The job's the easy bit, Josh, isn't it?
Yeah, the job is easy for the right people. For example, like the people that work for me, they're experienced. The job's easy for them, but to do my job, they wouldn't be able to do that because it's just a different challenge.
Yeah.
Point blank, it's just different.
I get it, mate. We've ran off on a tangent, which I love. Like, it's absolutely cool to do that. I love pulling them threads and going off. What I want to pull it back to, though, because I don't want to lose sight of it, is where you were talking, because obviously this is mental health centered.
Yeah.
Let's pull it back to where you were saying that you first started your struggles. I want to get into, so let's stick a pin in, because I do want to talk about how you went from tools to where you are now, because I think that's an interesting conversation.
No,
but I don't want to skip where we got to in terms of your mental health journey, because I think it also, knowing what I know about your mental health journey, lends even more credibility to where you are now.
Yeah, I think it's important, because I feel as humans, we have this image of ourselves in our brain. We all do have it, to be honest with you. We expect a certain way of behaving from ourselves, and then we're also cautious of how other people perceive us. So that always keeps us kind of in a box, like mentally. But whereas when you go through mental health, I think it kind of releases you from that strain. Well, it did for me personally. I've been sanctioned. Like, the police took me to the mental health hospital. I was crazy, genuinely crazy. I could not be in public. I couldn't be in society. I was walking around as like an isolated room in a hospital. The police took me there. I was in an isolated room, like a box room with like people can't see the studio, but like the bathroom's in there. It's all padded up, because you're just
literally a padded room.
Yeah. I was insane. Genuinely, my mind was broken. And when you go to that sense of things where, and I don't even want to, I can delve into it even further, like in isolation, like I was going crazier and crazier.
Let me take it back
until it
again
broke
a
me
touch.
completely.
What led you to that?
It was partly to do with how a bit of family pressure, but I was putting the pressure on myself. It wasn't their fault, but I put the pressure on myself. It was the music, it was the environment I was in, and it was just the pressure of being something in this world, and it's difficult. And I just was relentless, but in the wrong places, and it just turned me crazy.
Was there, because I mean, it's a big statement, mate. Was there, and the reason I'm prying into this is just because there could be people out there listening that might be either experiencing things like this themselves, or know people or have people around them that are.
Yeah.
Was there, like, looking back now with the eyes that you've got, was there a sign? Could it be predicted? Was there a build up? Was it a drawn out process, or was it instant?
No, it was a drawn out process. It was like trauma from childhood that just kept like just bagging, like the snowball effect.
Yep.
From childhood, I was taking a lot of trauma from childhood, putting it in, say, like, for example, like a rucksack or a bag, putting it in after year, putting some bit more trauma in, trauma. But as much as like the word trauma just sounds like crazy, it could be as simple as like you had a fight with someone, or you done this, or you done that. It's not like crazy stuff that some people maybe have gone through, but it's just taking those little chips to your mentality, putting it in the bag, putting it in the bag, and then eventually it just overflowed. And I was at that age, like 18, 19, you don't know yourself. And it just overspilled, and I ran in. I was on everyone knows the A406 in London. I was running on the dual carriageway in the middle. I thought someone was chasing me. I was just running in the middle of the motorway, like in the, like where the barriers
little,
are.
Yeah.
Had no intention of like really like killing myself, but I was running away from something.
How did you end up on a motorway?
I just jumped in there. Like, I just jumped over like there's a bridge. I just came around the side of it, went down, ran into the middle, just started running because I thought someone was chasing me.
And like, to get there, had you left your house, or?
Yeah. So funny story. I was with my mum. We was dog sitting one of her friends' dogs at the time, because she was on holiday or something, and I was listening to music, and I was already had psychosis. So if people don't know what psychosis is, it's like your reality is distorted. You think things are happening that aren't really happening. And I was already kind of, I call it bugging out. Like, I was just already thinking people watching me, people following me, people trying to harm me, people, you know. And I was listening to some music, and it was like obviously drill music. I live in London. That's what we all listen to as young people. I was in the music business. And I was thinking they're talking to me. I was watching the video, and for one reason or another, I thought that drill music was talking to me. And I went to my mum, like, I was acting very panicky, and then my mum said something like, and bless my mum, like, she didn't mean anything, no harm about it, but she was like, "Oh, get over it, Josh. Oh, why are you being silly? Stop being silly." And that just took me over the edge. I literally opened the door, I ran out.
Really?
I was like, well, no one understands me.
Yeah.
These people are chasing me. They want to harm me. My mum was laughing at me. So I just opened the door and just legged it out of the house. Ended up in the middle of the dual carriageway. Got picked up by the police. Got taken to the mental health hospital. Essentially disowned all my parents. Mum and dad. I don't have more parents than that. But yeah, they came. I said, no, I don't want anything to do with you. Dad, don't want to know you. Mum, don't want to know you. Dad kind of just disappeared. It was like, okay, he needed to protect himself. But my mom kept coming back. And I kept saying the same thing. Like, go away. Don't want, like, I'm done with everyone.
Tell me about the process, mate, because I think there's a lot of, if you were to tell people, most people, like, what is it like to be sectioned? I think most people imagine, like, okay, I'm going to say what I imagine because I can't speak for other people. I imagine white van pulls up, couple of big lads, wrap you up in some like jacket kind of thing, take you away, put you in a padded cell, and then they dose you up on drugs. That is what
that's basically what happens.
That's my movie picture,
that's
you know.
What happens.
But that is actually
genuinely, yeah.
Christ.
To be fair, when the police came, I actually jumped in the back because I thought someone was chasing me. So I was like, "Oh, thank fuck for this. I'm safe now." But then they took one look at me. They didn't say much. They kept looking at me. And then I think they eventually clocked on that this guy's not well. And then I was just sitting in the car. I was wondering what's going on. Like no one's saying anything to me. No, I'm just like, I've just been sprinting down the dual carriageway. I'm just like out of breath. I can't talk. They asked me a few questions. I generally couldn't get the answers out because I was so like, my heart was pumping so much that I generally couldn't speak. And then a big, like, you know, bully van, like a big police van came behind the car that I got into. They basically closed the dual carriageway. Like they slowed down the traffic and they basically essentially kind of closed it whilst they got me off of the dual carriageway. And then eventually the big van came behind and then they just took me in there. I didn't know where they were taking me. I started, my psychosis playing up. I thought they were going to, like, I don't know, like strangle me and just kill me. I don't know why, but you know, I'm mentally ill.
Was that like, because obviously psychosis, had you been in psychosis for a while at that? Because you were saying like that you were thinking like the TV or whatever was talking to you. Had it been like, did it drift in and out, or was it constant for like days or weeks? Or I'm just trying to understand the whole sort of process of it.
I think it was literally over a few days where it got really extreme to the point where I wasn't eating and I didn't realize I wasn't eating. I went like a good 2 days without eating food. And I generally just forgot to eat because my psychosis was playing with me so much that I just forgot to eat and drink.
Right.
And then that just spilt me over the edge when I was with my mum. I was just like, right, I need to get out of here. And I just started running. And yeah, ended up in a mental health hospital in a padded room. And that's when it proper kicked in. Like, it got extreme. In there, it's like...
Say, mate, yeah, because if you're at a point where you're thinking that people are after you, and then you get kind of like locked away, that's just going to play into that whole narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, you know exactly. Yeah. It played into it so much to the point where I thought that this is how the hospital, the isolation room works. It's like, it's a room, a square room, bathroom, sliding door. Everything's padded. Everything's like, you basically can't do anything. You can't like make any leaks on the plumbing. Yeah. It's all closed in, you know. And they have like a rectangular window where the doctors come in and they can observe you.
Mate, it literally sounds like a movie.
It is, genuinely is. When I look back, it's not funny or whatever, but like I just think like, damn, that was pretty cool. I was like the main character, and that's what my psychosis wanted. My psychosis wanted me to be the main character, and it played in so much. I thought they were on the phone to the president in the thing, trying to get me out. But genuinely, I was like,
Christ, yeah.
I was crazy. I was insane. Yeah, and I was like, and to be honest, it was grim in there, to be honest, because there was points where I thought, right, they're starving me, they're doing this, they're doing that. It was playing in. I was getting even more entrenched in my psychosis. I'll be honest, I drank my piss in there. I thought like they were starving me. I know that sounds mad. You're gonna think, what the hell?
Mate, I can see where your head's going with the narrative. Yeah, so they're like trying to poison you and stuff like that.
I was like militant in there. Like I was literally marching up and down that cell. I would not let no one come in there. Like I was mad. I wouldn't even go in the toilet because I thought they would lock me in there or something. I genuinely would go toilet on the floor. Yeah. And I would wrap it, and I was like just moving crazy. It's a mad thing to say, like you know, mate, you drank your own pit. Like I drank.
Do you know
my
what,
own
Josh?
piss,
I'm
bro.
actually, first of all, I'll just say, man, it takes some balls to be as open as you're being, so I appreciate that. No, but do you know what? The fact that you're doing it plays into there's value in there for people to understand, because there might again be people listening that are either A, struggling with their health, or B, know somebody, or mate, do you know what I mean? Like all this. The whole thing behind the podcast being Let's Talk is for exactly this. Let's break down the stigma, because and even me, like I've spent the last year having deep mental health conversations. There's still certain subjects that you talk about. The word suicide, like that word still makes me kind of a bit like recoil inside, you know?
Yeah,
but we're programmed that way. It's a taboo. But we need to talk about it in order to break down that stigma, to let people know.
It's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Exactly that.
It's fine. We're humans. Like, how can I sit here and say I shat on the floor and drank my own piss because I thought they were trying to starve me in a cell? That's crazy. But at the end of the day, if I'm not going to speak about it, who's going to speak about it? There might be someone suffering right now watching this.
This is what I'm saying.
And I mean, you can reach out. Like, I'm more than happy to just like drop me a DM, drop me a message. I don't mind talking about it. It's not all just about construction at the end of the day, and money and business. Like mental health is all you have, like your health, your family, your friends. That's what's important.
Yeah. And the thing is, when it comes to like psychosis and that, your reality is your reality. So if you in your mind believe something is true for you in your world, it is. So that's your reality. So we've got to be able to talk openly without fear of judgment. You know, and you know, having people like you do that, mate, that is what plays into that. So it's just a quick thanks for being so open. I do appreciate it.
No, and thank you for having me as well. Like, and what you've built here is truly like unique and tremendous. You know,
just getting started, mate. Exactly. Just getting started.
And as long as we keep going, like that's all that matters. You know.
Let's go back into where you were, because what interests me is obviously you hit some real fucking low there. How long were you in that state?
I was mental when I left the mental health hospital. My mum was the one saying, "Don't say you're crazy. Don't say you're crazy." Just,
Were you telling them you were crazy?
No. They just knew I was crazy.
Right.
No, in a sense, like you can just tell in the eyes, like you know. And thankfully, I don't think I like my eyes.
No, you look good now, mate. We're okay. Yeah. Listen, I've locked you in, not locked you out. It's when you're locked out, you've got to worry. So no, we're all good.
Yeah,
we're all good.
So they can just tell, you know, that they do the tests, like they check your blood pressure and they do some blood tests on you. And I think like there's a chemical imbalance when you are mentally ill, and they wouldn't do the tests if there wasn't a reason. There's a relevance to it, you know. There must be some chemical imbalances right now because you're at some different frequency as a person, as a human. You know, like I see those books over there, Surviving Hell, Beyond the Drop Zone. It's the same thing as mental health, you know. And I'm pretty sure I don't read many books. I do have a free book and a paid book and all of that. We can delve into that further. But like I can imagine those books over there, I bet that's all about mental challenges.
It is, mate. I mean, just while you're highlighting on, big
Yeah.
shout out to previous guests of the podcast, Andy Williams, Beyond the Drop Zone, and Nick Dunn, who wrote Surviving Hell, both former serving paratroopers who have both been through their own mental health situations, essentially relating to their duty. Fascinating books, man. But
yeah, I do need to start reading books. Yeah.
Everybody goes through life, though, Josh, don't they? And life ain't easy. But
It's not.
I'm just fascinated with the process that you went through. So if you say that you were still not well when you came out, like first of all, how long were you in for? How long did they keep you in?
My mum knows more than me, to be honest, because I forget these things.
Is it a bit of a blur now?
It's not a blur, but I just don't really I don't really talk about it anymore because it's just so like something from the past, but it is relevant and it's an important story to tell people. Like you can go from rock bottom to having a successful construction business in no time. Sorry, what was the question?
How long were you in for?
I think about 1 to 2 months. Yeah.
Wow, mate, I was thinking you were going to say a few days.
No, it doesn't work like that. Once you get sectioned and it's under the certain mental health act, you are not leaving there until like you go to a board of doctors that like they all have to vote. Are we going to let this person out? Because at the end of the day, they're risking the public's safety with you being back out there. Like you can go out there and just do something crazy and, you know, affect, you know, normal people.
It's harm to yourself or others, isn't it? I think that they deem it as not likely to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more harm to others. Obviously, you do. Sorry, you do.
No, man, you pull it up there, Josh. That's what I do. I like pin it behind the top of my back, otherwise it dips down.
My posture is so bad.
I need to get some different cushions, mate. I'm aware.
No, it's fine. But yeah. So yeah, it goes to a board. Obviously, they do care about you harming yourself, but it's more about the public as well. That's why they've sectioned you. They don't want you to go out there and just go and do something to a random person. And whose fault is that? Because it would come down to the services like NHS, like they will be held responsible. Like,
Did you ever get to that point where you were thinking about harming others, or?
Trying to think. No, to be honest.
No.
I wasn't going to kill myself because I genuinely, I was a bit of a coward. I was like, to be honest, like, as much as like that sounds crazy, if someone's dealing with mental health right now, don't take that to heart.
No, mate, I think
I was...
What you've told me, your whole like story around psychosis actually seems to result from like fear of that. It wasn't because you were trying to end your own life. It was because you were in fear of your life, which actually says that you wanted to protect it.
Yeah, I've never looked at it like that. No, yeah, that's true. Actually, I wasn't self-harming. I did have thoughts that there was a stage once I got released that I did have thoughts like, you know, there's a knife there, like, you know, use it, but it's not like I wasn't trying to use it. Was, I don't know, to be honest. I can't. That's the funny thing about mental health. There's just so much you can't really understand.
It's hard to try and make it logical now when you're in a logical mind, when at the time you weren't, was it? You know what I mean? You can't translate that to make it make sense when it didn't make sense at the time.
Yeah. So for example, my mum quit her job to get me out because she had to, you know, look after me. She had to take me from there. And the only way they were going to I had to, you know, the minimum once you get sectioned under that certain act is like, you need to be there for 3 to 6 months. I mean, actually, I think it's like 6 to 8 or 12 months. They don't let people out quick when you get sectioned.
And what kind of facility is it? Are you in is it a hospital or?
So essentially, once I got put in there, first of all, you're in the isolation. So you're there. They're kind of doing their own checks, tests, seeing like, you know, they're basically breaking you down because you're in there on a pump. You're there like, yeah. I'm the man right now. Like, I'm here. You guys ain't gonna do nothing to me. And then after a few days, it starts the mental health. It starts to eat you and break you, and you start to realize that like, what's going on here? There was a point where I was literally walking up and down like this. Like,
are they putting it like when you go in? Do they give you drugs to try and bring you down?
No, because they're not gonna get their hands on you. Think. I've just ran on the dual carriageway. You think they're gonna come with some needle and like put some meds into me? There's no way.
Well, I don't know, mate. That's kind of what I think is that they're going to get a couple of heavies are going to come in, sit on you, pin you down, inject you, and you're going to be zombified. That's like, again, movie stuff, isn't it?
No, they do eventually do that once you settle down. You know, you get the tablets, you get the risperidone, the diazepam. But yeah, when I first got in there, I'm like pacing up and down, like militant, like you know, no one's coming in here. Whatever they're planning to do to me, it ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna go in that bathroom because I'm not gonna get locked in there. So I'm gonna shit and piss in plain sight and ready for war, you know? And eventually then it triggers into a different phase in the mental health. Then next thing you're like, yeah, you just get mad aggressive. You're just in there, just ready. Come in here. I'm ready. and then eventually it kind of dies down a bit. You get hungry. You start actually wanting a bit of water, you know. I was drinking from the toilet at one point, like,
bro.
Quickly. I'm gonna stay here forever. You're not gonna come in here. Like, I'm thinking, how am I gonna like look after myself in this room without having them come in here and try and service me? Yeah. I'm gonna stay in here and just, I don't know, like try and grow a plant or something and start trying to live in this room. But yeah, it's crazy. And then, but eventually, you know, with even probably in those, eventually you wear down. We're humans. We want food. We want water. There comes a point where, you know, you can't be crazy no more because you're hungry.
I mean, look, I guess the people that run these institutions, they've been there before. You wouldn't have been the first. They would know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly.
They know
like, how did that play out then, mate? Like, in terms of getting you well again, like in terms of and also the other question I want to ask, mate, is what's it like in those places? Because I mean, I'm assuming, like, you sound like you were in a bad way.
Oh yeah.
But there must be other people in there that are in a similar or worse position.
Yeah.
How was it being surrounded by that?
It was scary, to be honest, because once I got out of the self-isolation, you go into like an acute ward. And once you're in there, you're like a goldfish. It's like the best I can reference it when I was driving up here. Car's fast, you know. Driving, testing it, putting in sport mode, going fast. You feel like a shark, you know. You're like comparing to the other cars on the road, like you got power, you know. So you feel like you're a big fish, and then once you get to the roundabout, and you haven't broke fast enough, you get kind of stranded. I went straight past the roundabout, and I was like oh shit, I'm a goldfish again. Like, oh fuck, I'm in the wrong place right now. I've just pulled out. I just fucking legged it, got there. And it's the same in the mental health hospital. Is you're thinking like yeah, and once you get in, you're like a little goldfish. It's like you've just been dropped in this acute ward.
Yeah.
You're like a little tadpole. You're like, and you're just like trying to find like, oh shit. And then eventually it dies down. You realize the vibe is a bit different in there. Everyone's numbed down on the meds.
Yeah.
Everyone's a bit, you know, but you've just come from the self-isolation, so you're a bit more like, oh, fuck, where am I now? Where have they put me? And then you slowly numb down. You start to realize time goes a bit slower. The meds start coming out.
And are they giving you, like, I don't know, mate, are they giving you therapy or counselling? Are they trying to evaluate you? Like, what goes on?
Once you're in there, like, you've kind of been disarmed, you know, like you're not as crazy as you was in the self-isolation. That's why they've now put you to the next stage. And once you're in there, it's just, there's a routine. You watch a bit of TV, stare at the ceiling a bit, walk around. Don't really talk to any of the other patients because you're all like kind of in your own world. Then it comes med time. They don't ring a bell or anything. They just open this little cubicle, open it like a canteen.
Yeah.
You know, just
everyone just goes and gets their pills.
Yeah. I was like, kid you not, swing open the canteen, opens, everyone lines up. Got a little like a McDonald's sauce.
Yeah.
Put your pills in there, give you 3 pills, everyone lines up, go up there, hand it, water, swallow it in front of them, swallow all of them. Go.
I'm right in my head at the minute. I'm at was it Slim Shady, the Eminem video, music video, where is it on the real Slim Shady, where they're all lining up to get their meds?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I haven't watched that
You're
music
not
video
seeing
in a
that
long
one.
time.
I'm
I
sure
used to bang
people
out
listening,
Eminem a
people
lot,
watching might clock that. But that's exactly. I think again, it's the movie version of things. You kind of imagine a nurse giving you have to knock them back, and
That's how it is. Yeah, you go there, knock it back, and then you go off and watch TV again and stare at the wall.
So what I'm picking up, mate, is that it seems to me that it's just all they do is let time go by rather than actually try to.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're just
I don't know. I
trying
mean,
to
how do
slow
they fix
down
you?
your mind, because I think with mental health, it's like your mind is just racing.
Mm,
That's why you end up there, because you're thinking about 100 things at a time, and they're just trying to slow you down, like settle down, take these pills, slow yourself down. And that's how it is. There's a few people in there that were like homeless, like maybe like crack addicts,
mm.
but they were like, they had a different sort of arrangement with them. They would just come and sleep there and then go back out into
Oh,
the world.
really?
Yeah. There was a few people
What
in there,
drop-ins?
like literally, like maybe like long-term people there that literally have a room, but they would
No way.
stay there night and they'd go out and then come back.
Mate, do you know what? It's a fascinating insight. You're the first person that I've actually sat down and discussed the whole process of what happens.
Yeah,
I guess.
and it's good to actually talk about, because it's like, you know, when certain things just go to the back of your head, you don't even. So it's nice to kind of like even just bring it back up, like just thinking about, there was like this guy, like this Rasta looking guy, and he was homeless. Clearly, was doing some sort of drugs, but he was like one of those guys that goes in, goes out as he pleases. He even had his girlfriend in there. He had a partner. They
Yeah.
would both be in there. Yeah, and then you would have the other guys where there's a younger kid. Um, his family took him there, like voluntarily put him in there. I think he had like a porn addiction,
Mm.
but obviously it was messing with his mental state as well. Like, yeah, from what I got gathered from him, seemed like a cool guy. Like he just, but clearly he had some problems in his closet, and that's why his parents took him there.
Yeah.
And then there was a kid there. He ended up punching me around my face. To be honest, I was playing table tennis with him.
Yeah.
There was a table tennis room in there, and I won the table tennis. I was like, yes. And this guy just comes up to me and just goes, bang, and then I never saw him again.
No way.
And I was just like, yeah.
So what happened then? He got like carted away.
Yeah, basically, he just disappeared. And I think maybe that's how the system works. He just gets escalated somewhere else. Like, okay, he's violent, take him somewhere else. So I think that's how it works. Like I was in a non-violent place, you know, drop-ins, you know, some homeless people in there. Some rooms absolutely stank. Like they literally didn't move from their beds. It literally reeked. And I remember they eventually, I think they moved them somewhere else. And the reek coming. And to be honest, fair play to NHS. Like they deal with a lot. You know, that's a stressful job. You know, and having to clean up like.
So it got to the point then that you've been in there for a couple of months. They sat you in front of some sort of board, decided you were okay to go.
Yeah, it was a bit of pressure for my mom. Like, this is why, like, I'm big about, like, family and looking after your mom and stuff, because, like, I disowned my mom. Once I got in there, I said, no, I don't. You're not my mom. You're not my mom. You're not my mom. And she kept coming back, you know, and she got me out. She quit her job. Once I left, the amount of letters we was getting, mortgage overdue, the bills, the letters, bailiffs coming. We had no money. My neighbour downstairs was feeding us dinner. We had nothing in the fridge.
Because she had to stay at home with you?
Yeah, she quit her job. She was working in fashion, garment tech. So she was like travelling to places like Romania, checking on the factories.
Okay.
That's how I was talking about the fashion stuff and how I know things about it. We had a fashion brand together as well. And we was manufacturing garments in the future after all of this. But yeah, she left her job. She was on like good money, like 50, 60 grand a year. Had to leave it because, you know, if she wanted me out, she was worried that I would get institutionalized, that I would never leave that place. And that was her biggest worry. Man. And she wanted to get me out as quick as possible. So that's why she just quit her job, and she didn't care about the bills. Like, she just, You know how it is. Like you
Some
get
things are
worried,
more important than that, mate, aren't they?
literally, and I'm thankful. Like I was like even when I left, like I was even worse. Like my mum was thinking, what's happened to my son? I was not right in the head. Like
I mean, look, man, I've spoken to you
it's
before. I'm
mad.
speaking to you now. You're very switched on, a very sound guy.
Yeah,
How did you,
it's crazy.
like, how did it end? Like, how did you get well again? I guess that's the best question.
Is the biggest hardest part was once I left because I got overstimulated by the world again. I was in a acute ward where like nothing was triggering me. Once you go into that, what they let you on day release, like your mum takes you home or parents or family take you home and they have to bring you back. They're trying to like test, like, okay, can he go out? And it's just like I'm looking out the window and my mum's driving me around. I'm just like, just watching the world, like absolutely off my nut, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part, is because you start getting overstimulated, and the kitchen has knives and things, and you're just numbed out. Like you're like, whoa, is the world a beautiful place? Once you leave that mental health and maybe even like things like jail and things like, they probably have a similar experience. You're just looking at the world like, yo, wow, look at the trees. You're looking at the things that matter. Looking at nature. When we're out here, we're not even. I feel like I'm just like
tunnel vision, mate.
Yeah. And it's just once you start getting overstimulated, that's where the real danger is, because
Did you feel yourself start to slip again after you come out?
I was more ill out once I left than in.
Really?
Because of this overstimulation of the TV, the people walking the street. Everything was just too much. Your mind is playing tricks now because you're stimulated. Your mind, that inner voice, is telling you do certain things. You're listening to music, you're hearing some subliminal message in the music because of your mind. You're watching the news, you think they're looking at you, they're talking to just you. And it is really overwhelming when you leave. And that's where the real danger is. And they do home visits, obviously. They don't just let you out. Like, they come once a day.
Check in.
They're checking in, like, is he all right? Like, but you're trying to just keep your composure, because you kind of suss out that, like, you don't want to go back. Your mum's telling you, relax, Josh. Don't say anything. She knows I'm in my mind is probably like messed up. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm here now, thankful, and the tablets. I would say if anyone's watching this that's on any meds for mental health, I would say just wean yourself off of it. Like eventually, just try to not take them as much.
How long do you think
for your health?
The whole process was, Josh? Like in terms of getting better. So once you hit that break point, and then pulling yourself out of being institutionalized, how long would you say it was, like when you were at home, until you were like fully, I'm okay now, I'm back to me?
I don't think there was like a hurrah moment, like hurrah, I'm better now. I'm Joshua.
Slow, steady.
Yeah, it was more. I would say, I don't know the time frame, but I can only imagine it was maybe like 6 months.
Okay.
But I did it very quickly because it's like I realized there was challenges. When I came out, like my body was so weak. I'd lost a lot of weight in the mental health hospital. Because I'm eating like the same meals every day, square meals. The meds are kind of like messing with like your energy and stuff. I got very skinny, to be honest. No slim fast or anything like that. Like if you want to lose a bit of trouble, as a joke, like, go there, man. Come out skinny, bro. You won't be able to do much though, because you have no strength. Like you're just tired. You're barely walking. Like that's the first thing. Once I left, it was the shock of the body. My whole body went stiff because I was so used to my routine in there, barely moving. Even though I lost weight, I don't know how that even works. How I lost weight, but my whole body went into shock. I was like so tense. Like it's like as if I was like a victim of like torture. Literally, I was completely tense, lethargic. Couldn't do anything. I literally had no strength at all.
Let me ask you, mate, because the question's just popped into my head now, so I don't want to forget it. When you came out and you did sort of like go in with your mom and start to get better and that, how was the reaction from the other people you knew, like friends and stuff like that? Like, how did Did you notice anyone pull back?
Oh,
Were they
yeah.
supportive? Like, how did
Yeah.
that pan out?
I think everyone pulled back. Everyone did. People didn't want to know me. Genuinely, they just thought like that kid's broken. You know, even my brother, like, bless him, like my half brother on my mum's side, like even he looks thinking, and he's a very polite lad. Like, even I can tell in his head, he's like, "What the fuck has happened to this guy?" You know, he's just looking at me like, "What the fuck? That's my brother."
Yeah.
Because I was just a different person. I was just literally like, I was defeated. The world had defeated me. You know, I was just a shadow of myself. Because I was young as well. Like, I'm not saying like I was like some big, I don't have business or anything. Like, but I was a shadow of myself. I was just a skeleton.
That's deep, mate. That's deep. I think because one of the things I always talk about is like the stigma around talking about mental health. And unfortunately, like what I was hoping you would say to that question was, nah, like people were saying they were understanding, but the reality is they pull back.
Strange now. You're basically weird. You know, you're a weird person now. Like, you're just, they don't understand it.
Nail on head, mate. Nail on head. They don't understand it.
Yeah.
But then that, I believe, is where our society is massively going wrong. That we don't understand it. We don't talk about it. We don't educate our kids on it. Kids don't get taught about mental health in school. Not to the extent that they should.
What I'd say as well is, but it's human nature as well, because you got to think, even like in the medieval times, if you was all in a boat and you're like going to go and take over someone's land, you're a Viking, you're about to pillage. If you've got a sick person on your boat, what are you going to do with them? You're going to stroke them. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, he's going overboard. Fuck that. That's dead weight.
Yeah.
You're a waste of space on my ship now. You're fucking useless. You're not going to be able to fight in this world with us.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, animal nature.
Overboard.
Yeah. No, I've studied evolutional psychology, so I can lean into that.
Yeah.
I guess my concern with it is, like, if you've experienced that reaction once, if you were to start to feel like, say, your friendship circle now, and you would start to feel, you know what, actually, I'm starting to feel a bit fucking wrong again. Would that then prohibit you from going and telling them, because you're like, well, hold on, you guys pulled back last time I was struggling?
To be honest, my circle is always small, and the people that I have around me now, generally like great people, you know. And I don't try and make my circle too big anymore. If it's like business, like personal branding, like I'm not trying to be everyone's friend anymore. Whereas I think sometimes that the mental health side of it plays when you're kind of trying to be everyone's friend. I'm just going to be authentic to myself. Whoever gets attracted to my energy, they can be around me. I'm not fussed. But like, it's gone further than like, oh, I need to be people's friend. I'm just me. Like, I'm authentic. I don't like I created a six-figure business within 12 months. And this year will definitely be a 7-figure business. And it's the same energy that I have with that. It's like, you don't have to believe me. Look, I'm a young guy. What do I know about the trade? And to be fair, what do I know about the trade? I've just recently qualified. Like, I had a job at Dyno Plumbing, which is part of British Gas. I was close to getting fired from that. Like, I blagged my way in. I said that in my little free ebook. Like, I blagged my way in. They said, this guy don't know plumbing. They've reduced my wage. You know, I didn't know. I'm not. You know, I'm just me.
Mate, we're going to get into that. I think we'll wrap up that chapter of your journey. Like, again, I massively appreciate you opening up. The only question I want to ask you to like wrap that up is, like, do you feel that you can talk with your friendship circle now about your mental health?
I don't talk about it, to be honest, but that's.
Do you feel you could if you needed to?
No, to be honest, no, because it's look, if you haven't gone through it, you're not gonna know, and most people don't want to hear people's sob stories. That's the problem. No one's got time for people's problems. Everyone's got their own problems, and that's the problem as well. The problem is the problem. The problem of the problem of the problem of the problem.
Josh, nah, man. Listen, I appreciate the honesty. It's a question that what you've been is dead honest, and that at the same time that is the problem.
No
is
one
the
wants to
fact that
hear your issues, and that's the harsh reality, and that's why you need to get yourself better. Keep the people close to you that genuinely, like, the mental health is important to them, and they really care. Like, you need to keep them close to you, and just accept this is the world. This is the world we live in. Go and be the best version of yourself, and just prove people that you can do it, and then you'll attract certain people around you, but at least, like, you're happy within. I wanted to get into podcasts and be out there before, but I know I needed to build some credibility. I needed to get some fucking, what's it called, like stripes under your belt. What is it? Stripes under your belt.
Earn your stripes is one of the comments in it. Earn your stripes, or get some experience under your belt.
Exactly.
I guess one of the two.
Yeah.
Combination of sayings there, mate.
Yeah. So, like, that's what I felt I genuinely had to do before I could, like, be able to do things like this, because the problem is people want to see results. People want to know that, like, you can back up your talk. And I feel like now I'm at a stage where, I can share my story, because I can I've my business in London, 6-figure business. I got off the tools in 6 months. I paid mentors. I went into a further mentorship. I was in the room. People were saying, "Why are you here?" I was like off the tools. Like, I was calm, and people were like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "Because I need to level up further." Then I realized that wasn't for me. And then I just had to continue on my journey. And now I have a branch in West Midlands.
Do you know what, Josh? Let's get into that story then, because I think that redemption story is what it is. It certainly gives you credibility to sit here and talk to other people and get your story out there. What I love about it, mate, is you've hit some lows. You've hit the depths of mental health, and now you're sat there, as you say, you've come out, you've built a 6-figure and growing business.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you did that. Like, from point one, going from where you were, which was down and struggling. How did you go from there to here, like, chronologically?
Well, once I left mental health hospital, obviously it didn't go straight into having my own business. Obviously, I worked in a pub. I generally thought, like, people fucking hated me in that pub for some reason. That nearly tipped me over the edge, to be honest with you, because of the mental health. There were lovely people in there, but, like, it's just mental health. I was working those jobs. Then I went to work at an estate agent. I thought in my head, okay, look, I'm getting better now. Let me go get a job where, you wear like a blazer, not, it wasn't something like as nice as this one, but like just a Primark, suit. I was like, okay, I'm getting a bit better now. Right. What do I need to do? What's going to make people accept me that I'm okay now? And I was like, right, okay, apprenticeship. So I was looking, found an apprenticeship place in my local area that supplies the apprenticeships. Okay, I was like, right, I thought in my mind, do you know what? Let me go uni. Let me try and get back on the wagon, so I was like, okay, cool. Do the apprenticeship, go get my level 3, whatever it is, get my BTEC, and I can shoot off to uni. Everyone's going to be like, okay, this guy's back. He's back. He's a normal person now.
Yeah.
So I got the apprenticeship, working at a local estate agent in North London, getting paid £4 an hour, Monday to Saturday, wearing some fucking uncomfortable suit, sitting in that chair, fucking no AC in this place. It's not your glamorous estate agent. It's just a bog standard estate agent. I looked up to the guy, to be honest, like, genuinely. Lovely guy, businessman, had a few businesses, deep into property, had a lot of property. And I looked up to him, saw him as an inspiration. Getting paid £4 an hour, there's only so far your inspiration can kind of go as well. Like, Monday to Saturday, I was driving a car, just to get to work, because it was a bit of a long journey. And then I realized that weren't for me. Then after that, what was it? Estate agent. Then I got my SIA badge. So I started doing security.
Yeah.
Got that. Started doing like agency work, doing nightclubs, like doors and stuff. And then, mad.
Mate, you've ping-ponged around, man.
Literally. Done that. That was good, though, because it got me back on my feet, and it got me that sense of freedom. And
sort of people interaction there, mate, as well.
Going from £4 an hour to like £13 an hour. It's like, oh yeah. Like,
How long do you do the doors for?
I think I did it for like a year. To be honest, there's going to be people that are going to like, his timeline doesn't make sense. I can't. It's not. It's in my mind. Like I can't.
It's just broadly, mate. Because like, there's a different. Like, if you say a year, maybe it was 9 months, maybe it was 15. But it's that context, isn't it? When you say a year, I know it wasn't a week. Like you could have gone, I did the doors, but you could have done them for 2 weeks. Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Hospital, 19. I think it must have been a year that I was doing it.
In London?
Yeah.
You know, mate, that must have come with its own tales as well.
Yeah. Yeah. There was different places, because it was agency work as well. Like, you go to certain areas, everything would be sound, and then go to other areas, and you're just like, what is going on here? Yeah, to be honest, you don't even realize how much you actually put yourself at risk for that wage, you know? I would not recommend anyone doing that job. Genuinely. Why are you going to put yourself on the front line for like what reason?
I mean, like working the doors, man, it's a tough job. And it's changed a lot as well. Like when I was a kid, the doorman, SIA wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So doorman would normally fight the local gangsters. You know what I mean? But they were hard men. But then as soon as SIA come in, it got rid of everyone that had a criminal record.
Agency working it.
Yeah, so then you've got people who aren't, you know, necessarily. I think there's a certain type of people that flock to those jobs because of the, you know,
flexibility.
I'm a doorman,
and it's
flexible. But it carries that stigma as well. Not stigma, status. It carries that stigma. Oh, what do you do? I work the doors.
Gone, though, to be honest, because I'm like 25. I think that's done. Maybe it's out here. Maybe there's still a little bit like, yeah, that's Steve. Like, don't mess with Steve, even though he's got the badge and stuff. Like, yeah. But yeah, I don't think that world exists as such in London anymore. Mate, I mean, maybe
the thought of working the doors in London is, I wouldn't fancy that, mate.
Nah, it was fun, to be honest. To be honest, like it isn't. Yeah, the whole stigma around doors is like, oh wow, like that's crazy, you know. But I think that's gone in London, especially. Maybe on an unofficial sense, yeah, it might be still. Yeah, you're not going to mess about, but maybe then I just cut through. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I just got lucky and just cut through and did what I wanted. You know, talk to girls. You know.
You ever see it drastically kick off doing that job?
No. If I have to think about it, no. Genuinely, no. I can't even like make up some stuff like.
No, it is I just cut through, man. Lucky you never.
I cut through. Like obviously, I see people like get like mashed up, but like I didn't really, because I was there for the wage. Like I wasn't there to like,
if it kicked off you weren't jumping in.
No, I would have jumped in, like especially if it's another person on the door, like of course. But no, I wasn't. I just think I just cut through. Like I just got my wage, had a bit of a laugh, bit of shits and giggles, you know, having a bit of a joke, chat up some girls and get the numbers, and you know how it is. Then I started doing like stadiums as well. That was fun. I used to like pretend to get lost at West Ham Stadium and just start wandering around the whole stadium. Yeah.
Took you around the place then, mate.
Oh yeah. Oh, then we was talking about jobs. Yeah. So SIA, then I realised, I need a career. I was like pestering my dad, like, Dad, please. He was a plumber by trade. He had a subcontracting company on a big commercial building sites, you know, price work, things like that.
Yeah.
I was begging him like, please let me get on the site. Like I can't do this no more. Like I need a career. I need longevity. I need a skill. Then yeah, he kind of like, yeah, okay. He was against it, but then he realised like, you're doing security, like okay, come do construction. Do you know what I mean? Like get a trade, and then so then he enrolled me in a plumbing college around the corner from him privately. I think we kind of went halves with each other. I think on paying for it, he kind of helped me out with that, like the deposit. Actually, I don't know. Actually, I think I paid for it all, to be honest. No, I paid for it. He just kind of sorted, like he just connected me to them, and you know I paid for it, paid the deposit. It was like $5,000, so I done the grand deposit, $4,000 once it's all done.
Yeah,
got the qualification, done my portfolio, done everything. Yeah. Wouldn't say you end up being much of a tradesperson once you got the qualification. Obviously, you get your skills on the job, don't you?
Again, mate. Yeah, big criticism of the college industry, really.
When fast track. money. It's
Yeah,
business.
it's not even fast track, mate. I like in my business, I've took lads on that have gone through 2-year, 3-year qualifications, and they still come out they're not ready to do the job which you'd expect them to be. It's kind of like they warm them up for you, but then you've got to teach them.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's business, isn't it? If they can have a fast track, business is business. Okay, you have two options. You go and do the apprenticeship route, spend years getting the trade, which is, I'll probably definitely recommend that. But what world do we live in now? Speed.
Yeah.
You need speed. If you want to be a plumber, okay, go do the fast track course. Go put down your money. Go get your qualification quick.
Is that what
and then
you
just
did?
run up. Yeah. Went in quickly, gone and got it. Wasn't much of a plumber. I remember I was on site and when I was doing my course and I was working for my dad's firm. But to be honest with you, I was literally just glorified. I was just laboring. Like I wasn't doing. I didn't have that. Oh, he's the son of the I was literally just going up and down flights, hoist. I learned nothing. Genuinely, I learned absolutely nothing. I lagged a few pipes. And there was one point where I put some push fits onto the pipe, and they were testing it because they do the first fix for the kitchen carcasses on the big sites, and they have to test it with a pressure test, pump it up, and I kept putting the stopcap not on properly, and I would pump it up. Pressure's going up, boom! The whole flat gets drenched in water.
Oh, mate.
And then I'm like, oh shit! And then I try and do it again. I go back to it. I put the push fit back on, hook it all up, start pumping it up again. I couldn't even put the push fit cap on properly. I did it again. Pump. Pressure's going up. Boom! The whole flat is drenched again. I went and did it again. Then the plumber that was working for my dad, his name was Adam, he came in, he was like, what the fuck's going on in here? You can imagine this shell is like all plastered. Or the whole thing's drenched because I've been trying to pressure test the pipe. Well, I didn't know nothing. Genuinely, I was watching.
Dead popular on site then, Josh, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, like I didn't get to do much, obviously, because who's going to let a guy just lot loose on the pipe work? I couldn't do anything, but that's because I didn't have the opportunity to do anything, But yeah, it's hard to get a trade. It's difficult, isn't it?
Mate, it ain't easy.
It isn't easy.
It's very beneficial to do. The thing is, and I put this out there quite a bit because I spend a lot of the time talking about the problems in the trade because they do exist, but at the same time, I love it. Like, I've been in the trades all my life. My family have pretty much been in the trades all their lives.
Yeah,
it's done me well. Right? Yeah, I'm third generation. My son's my apprentice now, so he's fourth.
Mad.
But, I've earned a good life out of it. Members of my family have earned a good life out of it. And I think with the way that the construction industry trades shortage, like skilled trades, is going, it's going to be very profitable for the next generation, like for the next 10 years from here on in.
Massive
maybe even more. Huge opportunity.
It's big opportunity, but it's hard because we're tradespeople, not business people. So that's where the gap, there is a gap there. And
there is.
And to be honest with you, like, that's another reason why I'm getting into socials, because I want to help, like, how I managed to automize and systemize certain things that allowed me to have like 5 full-time employees.
What happened then, mate? Because you went from, by the sounds of it, you went from fucking about on your dad's sites. What was the next step?
What's the next step? Okay, COVID. And everyone was doing crypto during COVID. Put some money into crypto. That shit got burnt so quick. I was on site. I had like money on my crypto, a KuCoin. I had the other tradespeople coming. Whoa, what was it on? Bro, I thought I was a trader. I was there like in my work uniform, like, yeah, man, like these people are working. I'm there like, look at this. Oh, look, it's gone up. I made $5,000. Oh, I thought I was the shit. People coming to me, like, even like my dad's business partner at the time was like, oh, you need to teach us. Like, they're seeing the numbers on the screen. They're like, and I'm in my back of my head, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know shit. You guys are the successful ones. Me, I'm just fucking about on my phone. But obviously everyone wants to people want to make money without work. Like, it's hard. It's fucking hard, man. Dusty, dirty, noisy, fucking waking up at the crack of dawn, getting in your van. Man, it's fucking difficult. Imagine doing that years. I can't imagine because I don't do that anymore. thankfully. But, you know, people do want a way out, but it's hard because there's no route. Obviously, you'll see certain things online, like, you know, but that's the problem, is there's not enough credibility there. You know, you need to have skin in the game. Why should your business needs to be running?
Mate. Definitely.
Who are you to tell me about business if your business ain't running? You said you sold it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do, 100%. It's what you've said, mate, is nail on the head. There's huge opportunity in the trades, but it ain't easy, and there's a lot of people. I just think people in general have changed, mate. Like the way that we see hard work, the perception of hard work has changed. So when I grew up, it was kind of idolized. And what I mean by that was, like, I've seen this firsthand, yeah, because I've had a lot of apprentices come through my business. I've probably, over the course of my business, I've probably had 30, 35 people pass through. And I've noticed a difference. Like when I started work, for example, I'd go and do a hard day's graft with either my dad or my granddad. And if I went home at the end of the day, got in the van at the end of the day and I went, oh, I'm knackered, my shoulder's killing me, they'd be like, well done, lad.
Yeah.
You've worked hard today. You've earned that pain. And you'd kind of, if I'm honest, I'd sit there and be like, oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
like, I've been acknowledged by my peers. And that then framed it that way. So I kind of, if I'm honest, even now, if I go home and I feel fresh, I'm like, I could have put more in today. Do you know what I mean? I don't idolize the tiredness, but I think that's where my mind frame set is. Now, fast forward that to today's generation. I don't mean to beat up on them, but I've literally had apprentices that have gone home from a day's work, and then I've had the mum on the phone and gone, we'll go with Josh today, right? Little Josh has come in from work today. His back's hurting. Like, do you think that's right? And I've been like, well, sorry, what? They're like, he's come in, he's ever so tired, and his back's at, this can't be, I don't think he should be doing the amount of work you've got him doing. And I'm like, he's painted a ceiling, love. Do you know what I mean?
Have you actually had that?
Legit, this is a real story, mate. I'm not making this up. I've had parents ring me to complain that their child has come back with hard work. I guess aches and pains, yeah. Similarly, my last conversation, so my son's my apprentice now. He don't get none of them, like, he don't get that ground. But the last conversation I had with a local construction college about taking an apprentice on, when we put the job advert together, I put an advert in and they came back to me and said, Russ, we've had to tweak it a bit. And they had to itemize the job advert with things like, candidate will be expected to stand up for long periods of the day. Candidate will be expected to lift their arms above their head for periods of the day. And I actually rung up the admin and I said, look, I see what you've added, but why have you added that? And they literally said to me, if we don't put that in, they'll complain that it wasn't expected. I'm like, they're going to come and do a job as a painter and decorator and complain they've had to paint a ceiling. And they're like, if we don't put it in, they'll complain. They're not expected to lift their arms. They're not expected
there's a skill shortage.
But this then plays into
generation getting weak.
Yeah, but this plays into that whole thing of the opportunity is there, but it's hard work. So, I think the hard work now is vilified.
Yeah, and it's partly social media, the way the economy is in the UK. I feel, it's hard work is not genuinely. And to be honest with you, as well as that, is once I left my dad's work, because I wasn't learning. I wasn't getting paid very well either. So I left, and it was just before Christmas, and I walked into plumbing version. I need a job. Okay. I just went straight in. I need a job, and he's like, okay, gave me this number, rang him. I need a job, and he was like, yeah, okay. Where do you live? Okay, he gave me the address. Go there tomorrow morning. Went there, boom, ready. The plumbers as well. Bro, the way they worked, they were Albanian, mad hard working. And at the time, my fiance was Albanian as well. And I kid you not, like, it was sick. Like, the way they worked, I looked up to it. I was like, yo, mad. Like, I was working so hard. I was also doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. So I was going to work with them. And in the evening, I'd go BJJ. And I was numb, like I was fucked. Like my whole body was literally. My partner was looking at me like, "Yo, I'm in the bath, like couldn't move." Next day, go again. I was on the ball, and the problem is as well is I didn't get a job out of that, and I barely got paid from that. Like there was a point I was chasing him for my money, and that's what I think is the problem as well.
Yep.
Is because everyone's out there for money, and then that affects my mentality as well. Like, well, I'm working mad hard. I'm putting in a proper shift. Like I'm to the point where I'm standing up. I'm lightheaded. I'm going like sneaking out, going to a pub to get a pint of Coke to quickly drink it and go back in. I was working like mad hard. I've never worked that hard, and I didn't even get like a job from it. One of the brothers was trying to hook me up with a job. He was like, "Oh yeah," he said like, "Oh, if I find him," because they knew I was with an Albanian girl at the time. They were like, "Oh yeah, if you can get me like a girlfriend, like a wife, like, yeah, I can sort you out a job." Bro, I just looked at him like in my back of my head, I was like,
"Well, that is some dodgy trade, that, Josh.
That's some BS. Like I'm working so hard, I'm showing that I'm worth it. And what is this?" And in the end of it, I was chasing for my money, and then he eventually did give me my money. I guess he just, thought, you know what, like fair play to the kid. Like I don't know what he thought. Maybe I don't know what he thought. Maybe he thought I know where all of his jobs are and like it's not worth it, So, but then he eventually paid me, and we went our separate ways, and I learned a lot from that. But then the worst thing is I learned that I was working too hard. I was putting in a proper graft. Cool, I was a labourer, but I was standing up lightheaded, fucked up. I was going martial arts in the evening. Cool. He would ask me, "Why are you doing that?" But well, I want to do that. It's not affecting my work. I'm still coming in, fucking working mad hard. So what's that got to do with you? And it's just like that annoyed me a bit. And that happened as well at my next job. And then I worked for an English fella. His name was Tony. Lovely guy, old fella, about in his 60s. Really down to earth guy. And he had like a bit of Alzheimer's. So sometimes I'll be waiting outside my block of flats, like on the brick wall, waiting for him. And I used to be on point, like on time. Cool, I'm not a tradesperson. I'm not skilled yet, but like I'm on time. I'm like I'm proving to you that like you can trust me. I'm like but it just never ended well, and I think it's because of construction is it's a hard industry to break into, and it messes with your mentality as well as a young person. I was grafting, like I can stand by that. Like I was working mad hard, and no one really appreciated it. People just like, well, as soon as I fuck up, "What the fuck you doing? What the fuck you doing?" And I was just think like, "Hey, I'm literally bang on at your doorstep every day, 7:30, boom, 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 like clockwork. Like I'm like a robot for these people," and then I just wasn't being appreciated. That's what it is, I think, for the young generation, is that, because why the fuck am I going to work hard? No one's fucking appreciating me,
Interesting.
So
yeah, mate. I'm processing it as you're saying it. Yeah, it's there's that generational disconnect. I think. I guess when I first started on site, mate, you never got no praise for nothing. The praise you got was less of a bollocking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was like it would either be a bollocking with a smile on her face, but you'd never be told really, "Oh mate, you've done a fantastic job there. Appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate you." It wasn't site language.
Do you reckon that's why there's a lot of mental health in the industry?
Potentially, there's definitely that stigma. I keep using that word, but there's definitely an image, mate. I mean, if you think of your average construction worker in the UK, I picture probably your alpha male type, strong bloke, loud, bubbly. Not really. You're not going to picture a sensitive, thoughtful individual necessarily.
Yeah.
And I know that's a misconception because I'm extremely sensitive and thoughtful. But you know what I mean? I've been in the trades my whole life. I've changed a lot as a person. If I'm honest, I was guilty of being exactly the same. And I've definitely been hard on people that have worked for me and pushed them because I was taught that way.
You get into that personality because people expect it from you.
Do you know what, mate?
you buy into it as well.
You're
Isn't
probably
it?
right there, Josh. There's an
Yeah.
extent of, so I just said it. I was taught that way. So I picked up a lot of my skills by being pushed and critiqued, and but that drove, because my own self. If somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm going to do it twice. You know what I mean? So if somebody tells me something ain't good enough, I don't shrivel from that. I rise to it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to show you. But that isn't everybody. And I think maybe there's that generational disconnect where maybe the older people in the trades need to realise that actually we have to handle the younger generation differently. We have to encourage more than berate. We have to adapt the way that we maybe treat
creating a more corporate environment, as much as it's a manual lit, but that's what I try to instill in my business, like systems and processes. It still has a long way to go, but the team that I have, like, it's all about the team, but it's like that's that disconnect from construction and business, and that's where it kind of comes down. I think there's that hard to connect business and construction together, especially for tradespeople running a one-man band or a small outfit. It's difficult. It's that disconnect, and I feel like I've learned so much in my quick journey to get off the tools so quickly, where I feel like I have so much value to bring to the industry. But it's just about, it takes a bit of time. I'm enjoying it. Look, I've got my business. I came here with my boys. We're having a good time. We came here, like,
how did that start, mate? Because we've gone from all these points where it sounds like things haven't worked out. At what point did you start your business and then scale it up like you've done?
December 2023. That's when I incorporated. I was working for Dyno Plumbing, which is part of British Gas. It's part of a plumbing. So essentially, I actually had a general construction business with my partner's uncle at the time. This was before I joined Dyno Plumbing. So I was like, basically, because I got so burnt by these other builders, like using me as like dog's body, I was putting my all in, and I never got like a job from it. I didn't want to work on site. I wanted to be in domestic homes, I knew that's where the money was at. It wasn't on the big sites. They just run you dry and give you price work and then just fuck up your company because they're big fish. They know what they're doing. They're playing games with people on those big sites. You keep your own cash flow negative. You're always chasing your tail. Next thing you know, the fucking contractor owes you like 100 grand. And you've liquidated, and you don't have a pot to piss in, and you don't have money to bring back to your family. So I realized quickly that, like, no, I don't want to stay on big sites. I want to go into domestic. That's where the real money is. And then, so that's when my journey was into that. Got burnt so much by these builders, just basically just using, abusing me. Worked for one guy. I still talk to him. A lovely guy. He didn't use and abuse me. He was a genuinely nice guy. He took me to a pub. We had beers together and all of that stuff. But there was a point where, I was on his private jobs. He's doing bathrooms. He charges quite a bit of money. Once the bathroom's ripped out, he's like, Josh, I ain't got work for you. Bro, you do have work for me. The bathroom's not done. Let me stay. But I wasn't thinking like that back then. I just went, oh, okay. And just left, just drove off, But at that stage, maybe I should have like really been like, no, I'm staying here. What the fuck? Like, I'm staying here. I want to see. I've just ripped out this bathroom for you, helped you level all the joists, getting it all nice, like getting all the walls nice and square. And now you're telling me, Josh, to be honest, when I think back, I should have said, I still have a good relationship. I should have just went like, no, I'm staying here. I'm staying in this house. I want to see this bathroom done. And you're gonna pay me. Probably not pay me. I probably won't have that part in. But so I should have really just said, no, I'll stay for free. Let me see. But then I would have been able to stay. But he used to say little comments like, Josh, you should be paying me right now. Because you're thinking, what the fuck? He's like, there would literally be stages like, we're getting close to the part where he's doing the first fix. You turn around, Josh, you should be paying me now. I shouldn't be paying you.
For what reason?
Because he's teaching me.
Right. Yeah.
So you can imagine as a young guy, like, it kind of like, it's affecting my mentality because I'm like, I'm working, I'm grafting hard. I never make excuses. Like, I'll never say I'm not doing something. If the builder told me to go on the roof without scaffolding, I'm going to do it. maybe that's stupid, but I was like a yes man, like yes. I just want to work, you know? And yeah, all those chinks in my armor eventually like it just boiled over, and I was like, right, I'm starting my construction company.
Okay.
So I was like, I started like a general construction business with the uncle, and I was getting the jobs in, doing a bit of marketing and Instagram, trying to like take photos, taking photos from the internet. We done this, but reality was I didn't do that. But trying to get the jobs in. He was a builder, but he was doing Uber.
Okay.
But like that's the thing with like a lot of like, you know, from foreign people, like even like I'm half Polish myself.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's why the multi trades, like most English people that, you know, electrician, plumber,
Yeah.
which is mean they makes them experts in their field. But then obviously like abroad, like you know, one person's doing everything, you know, obviously not to the standard of someone that does full-time painting and decorating. But where was I going with that? Yeah, so we started a general building and we took on the job. It was dirt cheap, like ruining the market, you know. Dirt cheap. It was a full flat refurb for this guy. Got it from online. Literally made nothing. Literally got to the end of it. I was like, fuck. Once my missus at the time done the numbers, it was like, you guys
Didn't earn anything.
we didn't earn nothing.
Yeah.
We didn't earn nothing. And where did I go from there? Then eventually, like the kind of the pressure, I felt like I was being like undervalued a bit because I wasn't hands-on. I wasn't very skilled. But obviously I was bringing the work in. But then I was like, okay, I just need to get a trade. I give up. I'm going to go get a job now. I'm going to go get my trade and do it the proper way, you know? So then I applied for a job, dyno plumbing, got the interview, said, yeah, I'm qualified plumber. Yep. Do kitchens. Yeah. You know, first fix, second fix. Yeah. I do all of it. Yeah. And then I got the job. And then they soon realized this kid knows nothing.
So you blagged your way in. Yeah.
I had to though. I hope was nah, but
Yeah, man.
I'll be honest, like I felt like I struck gold with that company because I was like, wow, I'm working for like a proper company, a proper plumbing company, part of British Gas. I was like over the moon until that dawned on me, like, oh, it's not all cracked out. It's all systemized. You're like a robot. Oh fuck, I can't even do the jobs that they're
nowhere
sending me
to hide,
do.
man. Yeah.
I'm going on the app and like, just say didn't have the part.
Right. Yeah.
Because obviously, like, yeah, I blagged my way in. They reduced my salary because obviously they realized very quickly that this kid knows absolutely fucking nothing.
At least they didn't get rid of you, though. What did they do then? They get hold of it, just say, look, we'll train you up, or?
Nah, they scorched me, man. They were like, brought me in the office, the HR person, and it's like, they were like proper ruthless, to be honest with you. Like, you know nothing, you blagged yourself, you just lied, like, you shouldn't be here. But then that's the problem with big companies, like, they've already started investing in you. They don't want to go back to the drawing stage of getting new applicants in, so they kind of give you that chance, you know? Which technically I probably would have been able to. Nah, fuck that. I probably wouldn't have been able to survive there. Yeah, I just wasn't good enough.
How the fuck do you go from that to where you are? Like, how did you start your own business off the back of this?
Yeah, so
I'm waiting for this moment where you go, and this just clicked. But so far, it's been that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work.
Yeah, this is just construction, by the way. I've had other little avenues like music, manufacturing, clothes.
Yeah.
So I've had a fair few failures. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of failures. Yeah. So when I was doing the refurb, that big job that I made no money in, I realized there was a certain job that came up. It was about doing some extractor fans and things like that, and it kind of jolted my memories back to the builder Tony. He done that on the side. I was like, yeah, he always used to. Like, yeah, this is good. And it kind of clicked on me. I went to the suppliers of that fan. They had a little course at the time, £100. Come in for the day. They teach you everything. You know, same shit.
Yeah.
You know, same quick, fast, become a painter in 10 minutes, become a plumber in 1 week. Same thing, go there. And that's when I was like, okay, my mind started going, okay, yeah. And then I just started my business, basically. had someone at the time that was actually securing the jobs on a lucrative agreement, which worked at the time, which eventually had to finish because I wanted to build a business that is long-term sustainable. And unfortunately, the agreement just couldn't allow the business to grow. So we had to just cut our ties, and then I just carried on going, basically. And now I've got 5 people working for me full-time.
So you learned how to install extractors?
Yeah, so it's like it's all about like ventilation, mold issues, and things like that. So obviously there's more work that comes from that as well. It's not as simple as always like, oh, put in this powerful fan. Obviously sometimes like the wrong building materials have been used in the property as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of just further.
So or does your company go out and like survey?
Yeah, exactly. So we do a visit, initial visit.
Yeah.
Go and have a look, obviously quote for the work, and then if the customer's happy with our company, then obviously they go ahead, book the jobs in with us, and then we get the work done.
So so your company will go out, they'll address, okay, there's an issue here, we've got mold here, and here. They'll address why that will be, and then provide the solution.
Provide this long-term solution, and then we get the work done. And when I first started it was me and like pulling in favours because I couldn't do it. So I was pulling in a lot of favours, like, oh, please come, I'll give you a day rate. Come, please. Man, I've kept that going. And I actually, at one point, I had a homeless guy working for me.
How did that happen?
My friend, one of them that came with me, he has a shop, barber shop. Obviously, he has constant, like, networking is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he is a network guy, like,
barbershops, mate, you can get everything. Yeah,
honestly, and thankful to him. He's helped me so much. To be honest with you, like, he's helped me a lot because of his network. He's let me tap in, and he knew what I was up to. He knew I was doing the fashion stuff, manufacturing before, got nowhere. Then I started this. I was like, bro, like I need a skilled person. But obviously, I'm just looking through my community. Like I'm not going on the internet. I can't afford to have a tradesperson working for me full time.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to make this business into a proper business. It was just a hustle. I was hustling at the start. I was just doing what I had to do to get in, get paid, get out. And it taught me a lot. Now I've taken a step back. Now I don't do any of that stuff anymore. But yeah, then I had this homeless guy working for me. His name was I want to say his name. Doesn't matter. But English fella, homeless. He was living in a crack house in my local area. Parents kicked him out. He was much older than me. Had a trade, was handy. Obviously had his own problems, and I used to pick him up from the crack house. Used to get him. He wasn't doing crack.
Yeah.
By the way, he's just a bit of an alcoholic and all of that stuff. He used to jump in my van. One time we got stuck in a ditch in the middle of the night in some random place. Got it out somehow. And yeah, he worked for me. And we done a job in West Midlands together. We booked a little Airbnb. And yeah.
Fair play, mate. I mean, fair play to you for giving him the opportunity.
I paid him.
I did notice that you said worked. So he don't work for you anymore.
No, because the problem is that like the mentality wasn't right. You know, like the sad thing is that you realize certain people are in certain places, and it comes back to institutionalization. Once you've lived that life of like freedom, like he had that sense of freedom, that's his lifestyle, and he genuinely enjoyed it. He enjoyed the thrill.
Well, that's fair. I mean, from your perspective,
kind of wasn't working.
You offered the opportunity. Yeah. And it wasn't taken.
It wasn't taken.
So you can't put yourself at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like, it's a noble thing to do to offer the opportunity to begin with.
And we was good friends at one point as well. Like, we got on a lot. Like, he was, I've been there. Like, I've been rock bottom. Yeah. He's been rock bottom. I got kicked out of my mum's once I got better as well, because I started becoming like a little shit again. And we resonated with that, like, and we've like, it's emotional, to be honest. Like, we was like team,
Yeah. I get that, man. I get that. You people, when you go through those experiences together like that, there's a bond created, isn't there? So, as I say, mate, there's only so much you can do for people, particularly if you've got a business at the front of things. And take a minute, bro. And we're back. So, yeah, man. Where were we? Where were we?
So I was working with him for a while. It was just a mad journey. And now, like I said, I managed to do 6 figures. Well, not even just 6 figures. Like, it was more than that. Like, it was like revenues, like quarter of a mil first year.
Well, mate, the 6 figures goes all the way from 100 to a million, doesn't it? That's a big gap.
And I had one comment the other day on one of my posts, like, "Oh, 100 grand is just one job in construction. That's not even an achievement."
It's a pretty damn big achievement, mate. A lot of people will never hit them figures. But like, how did you go then? How did you scale it up? Was it just based on? Because first of all, like, how did you find that much work in that industry?
Because obviously I had an arrangement with the guy at the time. Like, he was good at closing, securing the jobs for us. So it was a case of like marketing, sales, and just getting the jobs done quick.
Yeah,
just getting it in, out, bang. Like, it was like,
it's that team thing, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've said it several times now. I think that's what's missing with scaling businesses in construction. That having that team. There's so many of us try and do everything by themselves. Bit of a hypocrite saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, when it comes to trying to scale a business, and if that's what you want, like, you clearly, to me, you want to be a business owner. Yeah. And mate, I don't blame you for wanting to get off the tools. Like, there's most of us that put a shift in. It's hard on the body, mate. It's not easy in any way. You're getting up in the cold, in the dark, in the wet. You're going out early. You're coming back late. You're physically tired. Getting off the tools, I think, is a goal for a lot of people.
Don't think it's achievable.
Well, we just don't know how to do it, mate. That's the thing. There's no blueprint. Nobody really takes tradespeople to, and that's the shame. The shame is that there's so many really skilled people. I think there is a gap in the market there for that, for people, maybe people such as yourself that have been through it, to go, okay, you are a mint, like, you're an incredible electrician.
Yeah.
Now let's build a business with that skill set and scale it up to a point where you can back off the tools, but having done every element of the job, that you can then run the business.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself as well. Obviously, I've managed to achieve like things very quickly, and that's due to just putting things in place and also seeking out knowledge and mentorship. I had guys, I paid them a lot of money. Like, I saw their lifestyle on the Instagram. Obviously, lots of people would be like, nah, fuck that. Like, they're lying. I just took that gamble because I was at a stage where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I know there's more potential here, but I don't know how to unlock it. And I spent a lot of money in the region of like nearly like £10,000 just through just having them, and obviously the things they were telling me to invest in.
What are we talking about here then? Are we talking about like coaching, financial coaching?
No. So they were construction business owners.
Okay.
Young, smashing the game. Just from the lifestyle, did my little research on them. I see that this has been a thing that they've been doing. Maybe not in construction, but they've been doing this for a few years, like business. And I just took that leap. I was like, look, I want to be like them. I'm going to pay them. Literally, they just started their Instagram as well. It literally said new. You know when someone's account's new, it says new. I didn't care. Straight on the phone to them. I want to talk to you. The same day, I managed to speak to them. The following day, they set up a Zoom call. I was like, I sat down Zoom call. They were in Bali at the time, so I just come back from Bali. So it's like mad how the world works. And they're like, okay, what do you do? Yeah, okay. I didn't care. Like, genuinely, I've seen enough. Take my money. I need to know. I need to know how to get out of this. And that's what I did. I paid for it. After maybe a month, of working with them, I was off the tools. But that's because I invested in myself, you know, and I seeked, but like I wasn't scared to be burned, you know. And that's the thing with me, is like I'm not afraid to take L's. And I feel like sometimes as a tradesperson, we like to like we get familiar with how like life is comfortable, you know. Why rock the boat? You know, we're tradespeople. We just want to make an honest living, come home, have some money, go on a few holidays, you know. We're not like some rock stars that just want to go like tour the world and like want to like with tradespeople. We did this because we wanted a secure future for ourselves and our family and our future. And yeah, I just took that risk. I don't have time. I didn't have time to waste. Like I knew what I needed to do, and I knew I had to get off the tools. And I wasn't really even on the tools like that. It was more someone else in the van going to do the skilled work whilst I'm just like driving the van and, you know, doing my thing.
Yeah.
So obviously I take radiators off, put them back, you know, just about. I normally had to like video call my dad, like dad, and I'd pretend that like he's the senior.
Mate,
like,
I think I need you to tell me what course you did just so I can put it out there to avoid it.
What, the plumbing one?
The rapid plumbing. When you're telling me you got to do video call to take a radiator off.
Yeah, now I don't. I know how to do that, but it's just sometimes I just lack that confidence. But in reality, like if you left me in this room, like I wouldn't like leak your whole studio. Genuinely, like, I would be able to.
I don't think it'd take too much with some of the plumbing in here, mate. I got to be honest. It's a bit wild. It's a bit wild. There's When I moved in here, there were only, I think that radiator was the only one that worked. The boiler's leaking. It's ongoing. That should be getting sorted. That radiator there, I thought was broken. It turned out it was just turned off.
Oh, really?
But the radiator cover was like screwed over. It turned off, but the radiator cover was like fixed and glued around it. So you couldn't actually get to the valve to turn it back on. So then I thought, well, there's got to be something wrong with it, but it works fine. There's another radiator out there that's just been took off the wall. There was a radiator that was out in the back area that was on the wall. I'm thinking, this radiator don't work. And then I looked at it, and it was literally not connected to anything. It was just hung. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So yeah,
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad, but I do know how to do stuff. Like I need. Sometimes I don't give myself credit. I can do the things, but obviously, yeah.
Do you know what though? Listen, mate. The thing is, Josh, by the sounds of it, like you want to be a business owner. You've done enough grounding in it that you understand the trade.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be proficient as a tradesman because you don't intend to be one. With the best will in the world, by the sounds of it, what you intend to be as a business owner.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is it helps to come from a trade background because I can't get bullshit. Like I know how things work. Like, you know, I know how that socket is there. I know how the cables run. I know what live neutral earth. I know how you need to put it in the socket. I know enough.
Yeah.
Like you can't like pull the wool over my eyes and tell me the job's bigger.
It's the best way to do it, mate. Funnily enough, I was listening to a podcast today with Alex Hormozy.
Okay,
you know, and he was saying about like in terms of business growth, and one of the recommendations was to know every element of the business.
Yeah,
you know?
It's important.
And not that this is going that way, but for example, the fact that I've done the podcast and I've done everything myself so far. So recording, editing, producing probably explains a lot about the editing. But the fact that I've done it all myself so far means that if ever I get to a point where I can ask people to come in and do these things, I understand it.
Yeah,
it's not magic to me.
It's important to know. You need to know the groundwork at least, minimum, which I do know. And I have big aspirations within the construction industry. I've learned a lot so quickly. I have a lot to offer the industry, just from myself, my personal experiences, and also doing a little bit of mentorship on the side and things like that. But yeah, I'm excited to be in the industry in this sense as well, because I was told like you need to do it, but I stopped because I didn't think I was ready for it. And now like I feel like I can proper focus on like the personal branding side.
Yeah, good.
And helping other people achieve the same thing as me, because a lot of people will look at this and like, he's waffling, you know, he's not I'm here. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I have nothing. I don't have no financial, like I'm fine. I run a construction business. You know, I'm on target to like, be doing like 100 grand a month. Like I'm good. Like someone said, oh, don't take any advice from someone that's selling a book for 30 quid. Like, well, you think that 30 quid is going to change my life? Well, I spent like £150 putting fuel in the tank just to come here. It doesn't affect me, but I have a long-term vision and long-term plan, and I'm going to execute it.
What
And
is
that's
that
what it is.
aspiration then, mate? Or what are you trying to do?
Well, I want to create the biggest construction community in the UK. That's one thing. I want to branch my business out into another country, which I'm going to do. I'm going to be a 7-figure business this year, a multi-7-figure business in the next few years, new branch in another country. I'm going to do all of that. That's my professional side. That's my business side. But in the creative side, like for example, your podcast and things like that, I want to build a massive community because there's power in community. I did a podcast with Rasmus Holst, a guy in Bali. I went there for my birthday, and I managed to get him on a podcast, and he's doing like developing resorts in Bali, like building massive like resorts, like lifestyle buildings, and that's my end goal. Is I want to be a developer abroad. I want to be creating like magic, that's my priority in the future, and I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to do everything that I set out to do, because at the end of the day, you only have one life, and I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me. Genuinely, nothing's going to stop me. I'm launching a marketing agency. So from all the knowledge I got from the trades in such a short amount of time, obviously I'm going to be able to give that information to other tradespeople that want to automize and have the systems that I have in place for my business that work very. As soon as I put the system in place, my revenue doubled. I was doing about 30K a month when I was like running around on the van. As soon as I put the systems in place, my revenue doubled. I was doing like 70 around that amount straight away, and I was doing less work, and that's
when you say about automation, or what are we talking here? Break that down, because I don't particularly understand.
Just emails, SMS,
right?
Just firing it out, boom, boom, boom. Calendar linked automations, just a system. That's what we need, because you can't be putting on scrap. Oh, I need to follow up. I was doing at the start. I need to follow up this person on a scrap of paper, putting a note on my phone, follow up Sarah this time, follow up, writing it down. Oh, I need to remember this person. And you think I do that now? I've got people that are on the phones, like boom, 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 booking them in, treating it like a proper operation, and I managed to do that. I didn't even have that. I was tapping into subbies. My subbies make big money with me, big money. Like big
That's
money.
good. That's good, man. That's good.
And yeah, so it's like I want to do that, and then eventually I'm going to branch into just general digital marketing, which will service every business. So because I was in the fashion stuff, manufacturing before, I'm going to help a lot of fashion brands. I've got a lot of links into PR and things like that, which is very beneficial. I had a luxury brand at one point. It's in big magazines, everything. Like that industry is hard to crack, but that's a different side of things. Right now I'm focusing on construction, helping other businesses, because if I can do it, I'm a young lad. I haven't had my business for long. There's people with their phone, they're completely booked in for months and months on end. Imagine if they come to me and I can sort them out, and bro, they'll do it quicker than me. I done it from zero. I started with minus. Imagine someone that has an established business, has a reputation already built, word of mouth. And once I take that, put it into my system, churn it up, multi, that's going to be a 7-figure business straight away. Not long. It just depends on how aspirational that person is, how far they want to take it. Because me, I want to have 3 branches. I've already opened my second branch. It's in West Midlands, like I said. London, West Midlands, and then another place, which I'm gonna do as well. So yeah, it's exciting time. I'm enjoying the sort of phase I'm in my business, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to just getting into the crowd, getting in the mix.
I love to hear it, mate. I love to hear the moonshots. Do you know what I mean? And it's not a moonshot, it's reality. But I love to hear those goals, those the aspirations. It's good to hear. It's good to hear somebody. I said this before, like the redemption story from your point of view. It's good to hear the trials and tribulations that you went through, and then to where you're getting, because it just gives hope to people that are struggling.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's that attachment, and I still get it to this day. I think I'm the only one that can sort out a problem with a customer, and I still I have that problem myself. Like I genuinely think, oh no, shit, I need to speak to the customer. If things are fucked up, I need to speak to them. Reality is, someone else can do that job.
Yeah,
but it's my mental state that's making me think, no, I can't. I need to do it. And it's just getting over that hurdle. Once you get over it, man, life is different. Life is different. I'm going to Dubai in March. Like I'm just living my life, and I'm thankful that I'm able to do it. And I want to give back to this industry, because this industry is good. It helps. It provides people that, third generation. What does that say about the craft? That's if I can do that from zero, no nothing, like what can someone that's been in the trade for their whole life generate? Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's good to know, man. It's good to know. I mean, look, if somebody does want to reach out to you, Josh, and discuss anything that you've already spoken about, whether that's the mental health side or the business development, whatever it might be, where do people find you?
On Instagram. I don't even know my Instagram name too. I'm gonna have to check my phone.
Okay, mate. Yeah, I'm not even fine. Have you not got a site set up for this? Like
like a website
or the consultancy, that kind of
thing? No. So basically, we're gonna have a launch party for the digital marketing agency. Pillar fell.
That's gone, man. That's gone now.
Yeah. So we've already launched like the construction side, because obviously that's just me, But we do have. Wait, let me go back. Let me go back to what I was saying. Yeah. What was the question?
Where do people find you? If they want to reach out to you?
Instagram's the best place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Through your Instagram?
My personal Instagram.
Mate, I will. So, episode description, dial down. It'll be down there. You'll be tagged. So, it'll all be on there, mate. You don't have to remember it. Yeah, it'll all be on there. So, you just got to scroll down a bit.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, the digital marketing. So, essentially, I'm going to help construction people get off the tools. Put all the systems I've paid a lot of money to understand, to develop, and I've obviously improved off of that as well. It hasn't stayed the same. It's got better with time. So I'm going to help tradespeople get off the tools, essentially, do what exactly I did, if they want to, obviously. And then I'm launching my digital marketing agency. That's going to be servicing like a wider industry. That's going to be like fashion. It's not even going to be in this country. Most of it. It's going to be in UAE, so like Dubai, Qatar, Oman. But right now we're focusing on the construction side, and because that's where I come from. As much as like I'm young and I'm like only, what's the saying, like a little tadpole, but that's where I come from. I come from trade. I didn't have anything. I have GCSEs. I had to use this to try to.
I'm going to enjoy watching it, mate. I'll enjoy watching the rise.
Yeah.
But listen, mate,
we'll have you at the launch, hopefully, in London.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm down for that.
April.
I'm down for that. Yeah, let me know that I've got all sorts of things booked in over the next few months. We got a few commitments here and there with things I'm already scheduled to do. But as long as I'm free, mate, yeah,
I'd love to have you there.
It'd be amazing.
Genuinely. It'll be a really good event. Like, it's going to be a lot of people there, and it's going to be really good.
Fantastic. We'll speak about that afterwards, man. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Josh, I just wanted to say, mate, I think we've got to that point now.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours. Like, there's a lot of information for people to take on and process, but it's been wicked talking to you. Like, you keep mentioning your age, but you've got a lot of insights. You've got a lot of value already in your years, and your story in itself holds a lot of value. So it's been a pleasure to host and sit and hear your story. And again, thank you for being as open as you were, because that takes some balls.
At the end of the day, people are going to judge. They're going to make their own character reference of me, and it's fine. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
fair play, mate. Fair play. There's a lot of power to that. Before we do wrap it up completely, mate, is there anything that we haven't discussed that you wanted to get out there?
I'd say whoever's watching this, if it's in regards to mental health or in business, like, don't worry, like, you've got this. Like, don't look at my story and think, oh, what the fuck? Like, this guy's like 25, he's done all of this thing, doing all of these things. Like, don't let it overwhelm you. Like, everyone's on their own journey, you know. Just don't, like, just enjoy. My mentor said to me, like, you know, you got to enjoy the journey, not the destination. Once you get to the destination, trust me, it's not. You don't just go get to the end of the finish line. Hey, it's the journey. That's where the fun is, you know.
100%, mate. 100%. It's good advice. Perfect place to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Well, again, mate, massive thank you for coming and sitting down with me. Before we do wrap things up, a big shout out to our guest merchandise sponsors, the Funky Peach, who, I don't know, man, you're looking too smart, but I have got hoodies and tees to give out.
I wear tracksuits. I thought, let me...
I'm going to give Joshua a nice hoodie and T-shirt, and that's takeaway. No. And also a big shout out to Steve at Uncle Matt's Hats. Got one of these hats to take you away. I will explain the story behind Uncle Matt's hats, man. But yeah, I've got a whole load of colours in these for you to pick from. So thank you to you guys for supporting the podcast. And Josh, again, mate, massive thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for even creating this space, because if it wasn't for people like yourself, lots of stories will go untold.
We are just getting started,
and this is just
mate.
the start.
We are just getting started. Catch you soon on the next one.
Peace.